I just had my first ride since breaking my collarbone 4 months ago. My cheeks were not prepared. Oh my god. I haven't yet broken a bone. I've gotten hit by a car 3 times. 2 times I got like actually knocked off. 1 time like I felt the impact and it like popped the spoke, but I didn't like I didn't fall off my bike. Other people that bicycle with me like get annoyed at me because like I stop at every stop sign and they're like, no, just go. And it's like, I'd rather stop. Thank you for obeying traffic signs on a bike, right? I feel like you just should. There's no reason not to. One time I was butt naked in a bush, like in public, and I had to wait until nightfall to like make my way to a friend's house and get clothing and then get home. That was crazy. There was like people around and I'm just like butt naked in a bush, in a park. That was nuts. Never again. I was a kid. I was a minor. I was like a kid. It's not my fault. I will not elaborate. This is not me as a college student. This is me as like a high school kid. Like butt freaking naked. And this was before. All right, can I tell you about this? You youngsters have it easy. If you found yourself butt naked in a bush but you had your cell phone, you can get your bestie, you could get like a friend to like bring you clothing, right? This was before cell phones, so like I didn't have that option. I was just like terrified, having a mental breakdown in a bush butt naked. It was bad. Like we joke about it and you guys are like laughing. Like I was like, I think I cried. I was just like, I'm gonna go to jail. If anybody sees me, like they're gonna call the cops and I'm going to jail. Like I'm literally going to jail for this. And then on top of that, the douchebag friend that I went to, he thought it was like the funniest fucking thing in the world, but he did give me some of his clothes and then I got home. I could be your grandfather. I could be the crazy grandpa. That reminds me of my own crazy grandpa. Oh my god, he said some like fucked up shit to like children. Let's talk about like the weird shit that my grandpa used to say, right? Me and Jimmy, when we were younger, we realized that you should have 2 sets of grandparents, right? 2 grandmas and 2 grandpas. But we had 2 grandmas and only 1 grandpa. We were just these stupid little like 5-year-old children and we're like, grandpa, why do we only have 1 grandpa? And then my grandpa Noor like looked at us straight in the eye, absolute poker face, dead serious, right? I ate the other grandpa, so now it's just me. And we were like, ah! And we ran away. And then we told our mom, and our mom was like incredibly angry at him. He's like, you can't tell them that. They'll believe literally anything you say. And he was like, that's why it's so fun. Old people say the darndest thing with a completely straight face. He was just like, I ate the other grandpa. We fought and I defeated him in single combat and I ate him out of respect. He didn't say out of respect, but he did say that like he fought him, he killed him, and he ate him. I think he was evil, but he was like kind of a nice guy. He didn't get along with my crazy uncle. My dark history. The Noor family, the Noor siblings, we went to like a pretty good high school that was like prep for like college and it's like competitive and etc. And I got kicked out of that one. Both my siblings graduated like near the top of their class from that like good school, and then I got kicked out and then I had to go to a normal one in my area, and then I got kicked out again from that one for fighting, and then I had to go to like the slightly crappier one, and then I got kicked out of that one because I just didn't go to school. I was playing, I'm gonna be real with you, I was playing a lot of Dota, I was playing a lot of Counter-Strike, I was playing a lot of Diablo 2 at the local PC cafe, and I got kicked out of that one. And then they sent me to the scary one where I learned manners and the fact that there's always a bigger fish. No matter how strong you think you are, no matter how much of a badass you think you are, there's always a bigger fish and they will destroy you. Absolutely, they will destroy you. Bro, you're an inspiration. Please don't be like me. Be better than me. You are my anti-inspiration. There you go. Yeah, I texted my brother if he wanted to play video games with me, and he texted me back, lol, no. How are you, bro? Need anything? I didn't get you anything for your birthday. I love my brother, but it's just like, lol, no. I mean, to be fair, like, he's got like a family and he's busy, right? Like, I like my nieces. I like them. No, I'm not going to give them spears. I'm going to give them BB guns. I'm going to give them BB guns because my brother, country music legend Jimmy Noir, remembers how much we loved getting BB guns and how quickly they got taken away. So it's going to be like an M. Night Shyamalan moment when he has to take away the BB guns from his kids. I'm going to get them like really, really high quality airsoft. I can't give you the ages, but they're young. They're still like very much like elementary school, right? And then my brother's going to have to take that away from them. And he's going to die on the inside. It's going to be great. I'm going to watch my brother die on the inside, having to be the guy that did what, cause we were little tykes and they took away our BB guns. Vesper, we'll never grow up to be like them. And it's like, yeah, they're mean. And then now he did grow up to be like them. And the uncle that gave us the BB guns, was the crazy Alaskan uncle. So I've turned into the crazy Alaskan uncle that gives the BB gun, and he's turned into the villain parent that takes them away. So good. So good and so tasty. I wouldn't have to do this to him if he just played video games with me instead of raising his children. I like actually remembered something as to like why I have an affinity for drawing birds. I just remembered in elementary school, I was obsessed with birds, and I filled up like entire notebooks just drawing like one bird the same time, like the same way over and over and over again. And it would just be like maybe like over 1,000 pages in like, you know, the crappy notebook. And it's like a diving falcon. And I would just draw it over and over and over again. But like, to be fair, when I was a kid, I didn't see that as art. I just had like a book. I got like a book of birds, and then I was like flipping through it, like a picture book. And then I was just like, I like that picture. Something about it like activates my neurons. It's like the monkey with the tiny little brain and then the eyeball, like neurons activated. And I would just like copy that. And first I would like put the paper over the page and then trace it. But then later I got so good at it, I could just draw it on repeat. That might be the source of why like I can draw certain lines with a lot of confidence, because like that's the same line that I drew over and over. It's like Netero like punching and praying. I remember I got in trouble. I think like a 4th grade teacher or 5th grade. My 4th grade teacher confiscated my notebook because I wasn't paying attention in class, and she flipped through it, and it was just like the same picture over and over. It was like 80 pages of like this same damn bird, and she was just like, what the hell is wrong with this kid? I like historically have felt very uncomfortable on Valentine's Day. I used to ride bicycles with a group. I've stopped since I've started like working more, right? We used to do like very, very long bike rides. We were like an Audex crew, but we used to do like an annual Valentine's Day bike ride, and it was like the whole day from like 8 to 8. And it was like, what was our name for that ride? Ride together, ride or die, or something like that. And it's just like 4 dudes, and we're just like riding bikes like all day long. But then one by one, they started dropping out because these traders started like dating, and then later they got married, and then it's just me now. So it's just like, nah. I have a funny story. I had parents that were like way too like, oh, we can't show that to the kids. They're too young for that. And it's like, what? You guys know The Sound of Music? That was a movie that we watched a lot in my family when I was growing up. But up until like late college, I thought the movie ended when they got married. Because one of my parents was just like, oh, we can't show them anything after that because it's got stuff that they can't see, right? And it's not. So like, I thought the movie ended when they got married. And then I ended up watching it with the person, and then it got to that scene, and I was just like, what a great movie. And they were like, what? It's like, yeah, it's done now, right? It's like, nah, dude. I was like, what? And then it kept going. I was like, what? I got the Snyder cut of The Sound of Music. It's continuing on where they're getting married, and then I was just like, there's like the bells and stuff like that, and everybody's happy, right? And then he's like, nah, dude, like there's like a fair amount more to it, right? And I was like, what? But like, why? And I was like, oh man, parents must have like. So I looked at my buddy and I was like, dude, did they bang? And then he looked at me, he's like, what part of the first hour and 30 minutes would possibly make you think that they're gonna show that? Could you imagine if like it's like the first 90 minutes of The Sound of Music, like everything up to that point, and then there's just like a raw, like unfiltered, like scene like that. It's like, what is wrong with you? And it was just like, we were watching, and it was like, I don't know why then it would have gotten, I don't know why my parents wouldn't have allowed me to watch this.
Have you ever eaten a core of an apple? I have. Including the little, like, stem. I've eaten an entire apple before. There's a very short, very stupid story behind it. I was not drunk. I was a child. So one time I went into a supermarket with Jimmy, my younger brother Jimmy. Yeah, the Jimmy Noir, country music legend Jimmy Noir. We went into a supermarket, and I went there specifically to buy sodas for the both of us, right? We walked over, like, from the house to the supermarket. I lost track of my younger brother, and then when I found him, he was just, like, eating an apple. And then I got the soda pops, and I was, like, looking for him, and I was, like, a little bit panicked, right? Because it's just, like, you know, you don't want to be the one that, like, loses your younger sibling, and then, you know, they gotta file a police report, maybe you go to jail, maybe they execute you, you don't know, right? Like, so I found my brother, and he was, like, at the butcher area, and he was, like, watching the butchers, like, do their job, right? And he was, like, eating an apple. And I was like, oh, there you are, Jimmy, like, what happened? He's like, oh, nothing. It's like, where'd you get the apple? And he's like, oh, over there. And he points towards the produce section and he's eating apples. Like, Jimmy, you have to buy the food before you eat it. Jimmy, you're going to get in trouble. And then Jimmy started crying because I think he was like 4 or 5. Yeah, I think he was like 4 years old. And then I just spoke from the heart, and I was just like, you're gonna get in trouble because you ate it before you bought it, Jimmy. You're gonna get in trouble. And then Jimmy started crying. He was crying really hard because he thought that he was gonna get in big trouble, right? So we went off to the side, and I was like, stop crying, Jimmy, stop crying. Shh, I'll make it better, okay? And he's like, okay. He's like, okay, all right, give me the apple. And he's like, okay. And then Jimmy gave me the apple, and it was mostly eaten. I ate the whole thing. I ate the core of the apples. No evidence. Did they find out? Nope. Perfect crime. She turned into straight up that. Someone ate the sticker. So that's the story of like why I ate like the apple core. Jimmy ate like the meat of the apple, the regular part of the apple, and then I ate the core just to destroy the evidence. We were always like pretty close as siblings, like as brothers, right? When we were younger. But after that, he was like, hey, you want me to clean your room? It's like, yeah, sure. And then he would clean my room, right? For like a month, right? Because I think in his mind, like he was going to go to like jail. He was going to go to like fruit jail. And then like I bit the bullet and like I ate it. And then I ate the core because we're so stupid. But I do distinctly remember that like the butcher was like, why is that little child crying in front of the I remember he was like side-eyeing us because like my Jimmy just started crying in front of the butcher's like. Actually, the most memorable thing I've done on my trip. This is gonna sound really weird. I got a haircut. Like I'm just gonna let you guys know a little bit more about me, right? I got a guy back at home at a specific barber. That guy cuts my hair. Nobody else. So like at that shop, there's like multiple barbers. I don't let any of the other barbers like cut my hair because I am a paranoid and extreme introvert. And it's just like, I don't let people get that close to me. Like, I actually like really dislike being touched. I don't like it. So I have to trust the person, like the guy that like if that guy gets hit by a piano, I'm just never going to get a haircut ever again. If that guy is just like walking down the street and he gets hit by a piano, like I guess I could just never get haircuts ever again. But I didn't get a haircut for like over a month because I was with my family and then I came home. I didn't even get to sleep in my bed. I like packed and then I left, right? And then I've been here and it's just like, I need a haircut. It's just like way too, so I got a haircut. It's not a story, but this is like the situation that I was in. They were cutting my hair. They couldn't communicate with me. And I was just like, yeah, just do whatever, right? And they were cutting my hair. And then like underneath the shroud, to prevent like hair from getting on my clothing, I had my hands ready to like whip up into my neck area if they tried to like garrote me, right? If they tried to like put piano wire over my throat and kill me, like I was ready to like whip my hand up, arm, and then block it the entire way through. But I didn't get murdered, obviously. Your barber will remember this betrayal. Like it's been like imprinted into my soul, the fact that like somebody that I did not know was like cutting my hair. Vesper, what are you? What is your mind? I honestly don't know. How's the cut? Is it good? Yo, okay, yeah. Barbers in Japan are like different. They're just like good. This mother clucker like pulled out like a ruler. It's like, whoa, what? Like they're like really good at what they do. Holy crap, they're really good. Somebody asked me for a scary story, right? It's really short and it was probably the scariest situation that I've been in. I got really, really drunk at a convention, like a nerd convention, right? And then I woke up and I didn't know where I was. I didn't have my cell phone. I didn't have my wallet or anything. And like I spent like multiple hours trying to like figure out like what to do, right? And then I eventually found out that I was in a different state. I woke up in a completely different place. And then eventually, like, I was, like, talking at a shop, and it was like, oh, you're here. And it's like, how did I end up in a different state? Did you check your organs? I did. They're all there. Did you wake up in Ohio? No. Man, if I woke up in Ohio, I'd be like, well, I guess this is where I die. I had a neighbor, and there was a noise that was consistently coming out of their house during daylight hours. They would never run it in the middle of the night because they were good neighbors, right? But it was just a mysterious noise. So like I would come home from work and I would hear it coming out of their house. And it sounded like a hinge rotating, like, you know, like a creaky door. It was a creaky door, but imagine if it's just like creaking nonstop. So it was like,
And it drove me crazy because I didn't know like what would possibly make that noise, but I was too introverted to like ask them. And I would see them. I would see that neighbor and we would exchange polite hellos every day. The day before I left that apartment, I finally had the guts to like, because the thing is like, I very rarely saw them. I saw them maybe like once a month. I had the guts to like ask them what it was. And it was the most awkward because I like knocked on their door. They were not banging. The story ends completely say so. I knocked on the door and I was just like, hey, I'm moving. I just wanted to say goodbye. And they were like, oh, goodbye. And I was just like, I really so incredibly curious and I'm going to be thinking about it for the rest of my life if I don't ask you. And they were just like, they laughed and they were like, yeah. When I come home from work, I hear a noise and it's at like 6 p.m. every day and it sounds like a creaking noise. So what is it? And apparently it's something called a rock tumbler. They're like a big like geology fan, like an amateur geology fan or something. I tell this story because I tell it to people. I told it to Jimmy and I think he reacted the exact same way that you guys reacted. He's like, you took an incredible gamble. If they were bumping uglies, that's like the most awkward conversation possible. That was like the riskiest question that you could have asked in your entire life. That would have been so bad if it was not. Yeah.